Hey, this is Matt. Welcome back to the video, guys, where we're going to be talking about whether anti-hair loss drug Finasteride will be enough to keep Chris Bumstead's hair. As a professional bodybuilder, as somebody who also admitted that he's using PEDs, and we know that PEDs can speed up hair loss, especially by the guys with the genetic predisposition to androgenetic alopecia or developing androgenetic alopecia. We're going to be looking also at his hair loss progression from Norwood 1 until his current hair loss stage, and it was an interesting hair loss progression. I would like to share it with you and also give some potential suggestions how to improve his anti-hair loss regimen in the future. So with that being said, let's start with the video. Don't forget to smash that like button at this very moment if you are enjoying these regular hair loss and hair transplant related updates coming on my channel. And before we start with the video, this video has been brought to you by GoFiber, which are hair building fibers you can use to mask any thinning or patchy areas on your scalp to make your hair look thicker and better. So make sure to check out the link in the video description below where you can visit GoFiber, get a free sample of your choice from them and try them out. See if you like them. Guys, welcome back to the channel. Good to see you once again. If you are new, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and for all of you new guys, make sure you visit my website mattdominance.com where you can educate yourself about how to get your hair transplant done the proper way. Obviously, if you are a better candidate, not only you will be having a better result, you will be happier with that result, and the result will be probably long lasting. So first of all, we want to make sure that we are the best possible candidates to begin with, and one of the ways how to do it is to get on medication like finasteride and minoxidil, so you avoid being the bald guy for life and get your hair back and bring that hairline to the next level eventually with that transplant. That's what my channel is all about. Again, in a summary, I'm your host on this channel. Make sure you subscribe once again. And now let's talk about Chris Bumstead's hair loss story and his response to Finasteride. Now, for all of you guys who don't know who Chris Bumstead is, he's a professional Canadian bodybuilder. He's competing in the classic physique division at the Olympia, and he won already several times. He's very genetically gifted and very successful already, despite being only 26 years old. In this footage here, he is only 22, okay? He's only 22, and we see no extreme signs of male pattern baldness whatsoever. This is again 2017, where he was 22 years of age. This is him in 2018 when he's 23 years old, where I again cannot see any extreme signs of male pattern baldness, okay? Maybe a little bit if we would try to be very precise, but not really, guys, not really. I still consider him being like a Norwood 1 without any visible signs of hair loss. Here he explained pretty much why he didn't win the Olympia back in 2018 because of his unfortunate autoimmune disease, and that was also one of the reasons, by the way, he got on finasteride. At least that's what he said in one of his videos, because he was obviously put on corticosteroids to reduce the inflammation caused by the autoimmune disease when your body's immune system is attacking your own organs and cells. Apparently, as a result of that autoimmune disease, he also started experiencing hair loss, all right? But let's watch that clip so you know exactly what I mean.
Does Chris use Transplant?
Yeah, I started late though. I lost all my hair in 2018.
Did you?
Sick. I was taking corticosteroids and like an immune suppressant, and that made my hair fall out. And then
So you see here, Chris is saying that he lost all of his hair in 2018, like all of his hair, not really, just he started obviously experiencing some signs of hair loss, and he kind of thinks it's because of that start of using corticosteroids, which are usually just used for a while to reduce that inflammation from autoimmune disease, and corticosteroids are actually also used as a treatment for alopecia areata, which is also autoimmune disease where your body's own immune system is attacking the hair follicles, and this is causing the patchy hair loss where the hair is falling out in patches. But I didn't notice that with Chris Bumstead, so I'm not sure whether the autoimmune disease caused his hair loss or had something to do with that male pattern baldness like hair loss, which I think that he has nowadays. So obviously that must have been a mixture or a start of the male pattern baldness hair loss, but also maybe additional hair loss resulting from the stress of that autoimmune disease itself. So I can imagine that, but I wouldn't think that the autoimmune disease kind of resulted in his hair loss that he has today, because finasteride wouldn't be really necessary for such hair loss. Actually, corticosteroids, again, are much more widespread when it comes down to using them for any type of autoimmune disease like hair loss, like alopecia areata. Only very severe levels of alopecia areata, like alopecia totalis or universalis, where you also lose all hair that you have on your body, like eyebrows, everything, then the use of corticosteroids hasn't been shown that effective. But actually using corticosteroids hasn't been shown with like hair loss or permanent hair loss, if you know what I mean. So in his case, I think that he definitely has the predisposition to male pattern baldness, like androgenetic alopecia, because that's what his pattern also is suggesting, all right? But the way he's describing it, it's obvious that that autoimmune disease itself contributed to his hair loss as well, because otherwise he wouldn't have said it like that. So in the mid-2018, he suffers that unfortunate problem with his autoimmune disease, which he was diagnosed with already as a young kid, and he already had it happen to him once, like at least he described it in one of his videos, that he was again hospitalized due to this illness, and now it came back again in 2018. He was put on these corticosteroids, which apparently worsened his hair loss as well, and that's why he decides to get on finasteride in 2018. This is 2018, 1 month after this unfortunate thing happened to him, that he was pretty much hospitalized, or he went to the hospital because of that autoimmune disease. And from this point on, again, I don't see his hair looking bad. I don't see any patchy hair loss whatsoever, and neither I have seen like issues with his hair like by the end of 2018, which would be like 3 to 4 months later from that autoimmune disease shocking him, because that's usually the time when hair loss can appear when you suffer any shock to the body, like illness, even COVID hair loss. Usually you don't get hair loss after COVID right away, but usually 3 to 4 months later. And if I looked at his clips from late 2018, I didn't find like a dramatic worsening in his hair loss. However, guys, if we take a look at 2019 Mr. Olympia winner, that was September 15th of 2019, 1 year after that autoimmune, disease issue, but also probably him just suffering underlying androgenetic alopecia condition, we see how much worse, unfortunately, his hairline receded. We can see it now from the side, and it's a big difference in my opinion. He's just becoming like a textbook Norwood 2, and just 1 year earlier, as you can see here, he was he was just a Norwood 1, barely any signs of hair loss whatsoever. Fortunately, he's able to stabilize his hair loss like that for the next 2 years, which is great to see. And this is usually what you can see with finasteride. You can see hair loss stabilization. All right, usually you notice that you progress from one Norwood class to the other one, and then you get on finasteride because you really want to stop that hair loss, and that's what usually finasteride does. It freezes that hair loss in that stage, but sometimes some inevitable damage has been already done, and here we can see that unfortunately Chris Bumstead is not going to be able to reverse that Norwood 2 stage back to the Norwood 1, not even with finasteride. And if we take a look at this footage from 2020, we can still see him with that mild recession on his corners. And if we skip to 2021, we still see him with receding corners. So he was not able to reverse his hair loss with finasteride only, and that's usually what happens, okay? Unless you are like hyper responder to finasteride, you're not gonna regrow your hair on the hairline. Usually guys need to add minoxidil with microneedling to really, consider even coming back from like Norwood 2 to Norwood 1. And this footage from 2021 already is like almost 3 years of Chris Bumstead being on finasteride. So if usually you are already reaching like the full effectiveness of finasteride after 3 years of using it regularly. All right, so in this case it would make sense to add minoxidil and microneedling, but again, you would need to do it every day, not the microneedling part but the minoxidil part. So you need to consider whether it's something you can stick to even on a daily basis for the pretty much the rest of your life. If you don't want to do it, then probably hair transplant is less of a pain in the ass type of solution, where you just fill out the areas which are, you know, kind of making the difference between the Norwood 1 and Norwood 2, or Norwood 2 and Norwood 3. You can just even out, you get that hairline back with a transplant, which is a permanent hair, but you still need to stay on that finasteride, right? To keep that native hair thick, to keep the, you know, the difference between the native hair thickness, native hair density minimal between the transplanted hair thickness and transplanted hair density, because obviously the transplanted hair is going to look thicker and denser and may look even darker the first year, and you want to keep that contrast as little as possible. That's why you need to stay on that finasteride. But what I want to try to say here, obviously he could add minoxidil with microneedling, and he could maybe do it once every 10 days with 1 millimeter to 1.5 millimeter needle, like a pen derminator or any type of microneedling device. But it's I don't know if he's able to stick to it. If you are not able to stick to it, then don't do it. Just get a transplant and stay on finasteride. The same with anti-androgen like RU. You need to do it every day, guys. So if you're not able to do it, you need to do something like finasteride every single day. You need to have another proven protocol which you are able to stick to. All right, so my suggestion to him, if he wants to regrow that hair right now, would be either minoxidil with microneedling or get that transplant and stay on finasteride, because he's already 26. He has been on finasteride for 3 years, so I consider him being a relatively good hair transplant candidate actually, and he could get a minor FUE surgery already on his corners if he wants it, if he wants to look close to this. All right, it will be definitely possible with a hair transplant. He is a great donor. If you consider his further hair loss, well, should he get a hair transplant right now or should he wait? Well, it would be good to wait, ideally, if he can, until his late 30s, because we have also noticed that with like Callum van Moger, he's also on a similar, I would say, level. He's probably a bodybuilder. He's also probably taking some PEDs and whatnot, and he didn't really recede it as much until his mid-20s, but between like mid-20s to his 30s, we have seen like a big hair loss progression in Callum's case. It wasn't like drastic, obviously, didn't go to like Norwood 5, but it was like a Norwood 1 to Norwood 3 almost hair loss progression. And I'm not sure he's on finasteride like Chris, maybe he's not. But what I want to say here is it's good to wait maybe at least 2 more years, because usually the most drastic hair loss happens in your 20s when your androgen levels are the highest, usually, okay? Usually the guys who become Norwood 6 and 7 later in life, usually these are the guys who start receding in their 20s already. It rarely happens that a guy who starts receding in his 30s and 40s will turn into Norwood 7 later on in life. That's what I try to say. So that would be my suggestion, obviously, for all you guys who are taking some stuff like beat testosterone. Usually you should be fine with finasteride only or dutasteride. If you are taking like TRT, if you're taking like higher doses of testosterone, and during the time when you want to really push that physique on the next level, you add some other PEDs for that more like dry look, which obviously Chris Bumstead is probably using before competition, obviously not the whole year round, but these are usually the substances which are the most dangerous for your hair, highly androgenic, things like Trenbolone and whatnot. And this is a good time when you use them for a short term, you know, even try to get on anti-androgen. That would be the best thing you can do, even better than minoxidil, or combine minoxidil and anti-androgen during that time as well, because anti-androgen like CB0301 or RU588841, obviously experimental substances, however not so much with CB, which is on the way of being FDA approved for hair loss. So you can do that for that time to, you know, add that extra layer of protection against these steroids and all the other steroids which are not undergoing the 5-alpha reduction. There are just a couple of them which are undergoing 5-alpha reduction, and this is something that I have from the channel More Plates, More Dates. He explained it wonderfully. So the steroids which are not undergoing the 5-alpha reduction, you need an extra protection from that anti-androgen. reaction when you're using them, so be aware of that. I think he's a decent responder to finasteride. We see that his hair loss didn't get that worse over the last like 2.5 years while being on finasteride, which is a great thing in my opinion, and hopefully it's going to stay like that at least until his late 30s, and then his hair loss should even stabilize further, and that would be great. And we will see whether he will decide to get a hair transplant eventually or not, or whether he will you know, get on some other protocols and treatments. Maybe he will announce it on his channel, maybe not, we will see. Guys, that was it from me for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Give that video a thumb up if you did. Make sure you visit my website mattdominance.com, where you can inform yourself and get educated for free about hair transplant by downloading my ebook 5 Things I Wished I Had Known Before My Hair Transplant. It's a short ebook, but gets you the most important information that you need to know before your hair transplant. And if you want to consult your situation with me one-on-one, you can obviously get on a one-on-one session with me as well. There are links to it in the description below. If you check it out, you can get my personal support on a monthly basis as far as hair loss, protocol discussion, being a good hair transplant candidate, assisting you throughout your hair transplant research, and all that. That's what I'm doing with other guys who already are in your shoes. You can check out our results on my website as well, of guys and hair transformation of other guys who did have hair transplants, and you will see their realistic results. I'm portraying all the results even from guys who are not great candidates or not optimal candidates, as well as from the guys who have wonderful hair characteristics and were wonderful candidates in the beginning. So you can check all that on my website. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to join our free Facebook group, Hair Transplant Experiences, with over 3,500 members in the group, and I'm gonna be looking forward to see you there as well. Take care, guys. That was it for this video.